This is the visitor centers for the Homolovi State Park, and the state park is located 1 mile off of Route 66, just outside of Winslow. Okay, we're starting the trail for the Homolovi 2, which is a archaeological site. And I guess when we get up there, we're gonna see ruins of dwellings that held anywhere from 1,200 to 2,000 people. So it's got to be a massive site. We've got a nice walkway going to it, so you're not walking on sand or rock, which is nice.
About an hour away, a bunch of natives lived in the Mesa area around 1330s, and through the 1400s, and there's about 750 to 1,000 Hopis and their descendants that came up to these mesas and actually built their dwellings up here. And because of the Colorado River, they did have water, and they grew like squash, cotton, beans, and they used a lot of the cactus, that type of stuff, as resources for food. But they used to use the cotton to make goods for trading, of course. But people came from north and west and whatever, but they were here for over 800 years. So that's pretty cool.
A typical room used for domestic activities would have slab-lined floor pits for cooking and heating, similar to those found here in the West Plaza. Storage rooms lacked such floor features. This left area over here was probably an area used to roast corn and small game. And this wall right here in front of us contained a sealed doorway, which I guess they've removed. It took me a minute, but I found the sealed doorway. It's actually kind of hard to see on the camera, but it's directly in front of us. You can see an area there where stones have been added and they've put mortar around them. I wonder what's inside of that rascal. Some nefarious things going on around here. These large holes that you see all around here, these were done by treasure hunters that were digging illegally for treasure and pottery. Not good. There's a bunch over here too. All around here. In this depression right over here is a kiva. Kiva means cellar or underground house. Men are primary users of kivas. Women and children have access during certain ceremonies and seasons. This kiva right here is 14 feet by 17 feet and 6 feet deep. The floor and benches were paved with flagstones. Anchored to the roof and floor was a vertical loom for weaving cotton. Let's see what this one over here is. What is this rascal, Jan?
It's one of the biggest, the largest. It's 19.7 by 32.8 and 6.6 feet deep. there's a small stone wall deflects and circulates fresh air coming in from underneath, from under the bench.
Oh, I see it. I see a
yeah.
vent down there at the bottom. Sure enough.
A large pit at the north end of the
Right down
kiva. They represent a sepapu, symbolic of the hole of emergence. See, it feels kind of like a display here, how they accomplished everything. You know, the ladder goes down in it.
Yeah.
And here's that hole there for
Sure enough.
circulation.
Cool. Directly out in front of us, this mountain range here, that's the highest mountain range in Arizona. It's the San Francisco Peaks, and they are home of the Catsini spirits. The Catsini spirits are supernatural beings with the power to bring the rain needed to make crops grow and produce a beautiful harvest. They played an important role in the religious beliefs of the people who lived here. There had to be buffalo or something that came through here. They had to have access to some type of meat protein, I would think.
Yeah.
Or were the Indians that were here mostly vegetarians?
Well, you know, you have deer, elk, beaver, rabbit, snake, you name it. You know, that's all protein.
Yeah.
And tarantulas and scorpions, and if you're into that type of stuff.
You're naming all kinds of foods that I would never touch. I guess if I didn't have a choice, I wouldn't have a choice. In the distance, you can see several mesas. These are called Tutukwi or Hopi Buttes, sacred places in Hopi religion. Today they are used as eagle gathering areas by certain Hopi clans. And here's some more of those holes that people were treasure hunting illegally here. They're all over here.
You know, it almost looks like they were dwellings and these people were digging stuff out. I don't know.
I wonder how the archaeologists can tell the differences. All right, we're gonna walk on down to the Sunset Cemetery. In 1876, Brigham Young declared that he wanted the Mormons to move into this area here from Utah to spread out, I guess. So anyways, 200 Mormons set off from their homes in Utah to this area of the Little Colorado River to set up a base camp. And they lived communal style. They didn't have individual dwellings. They all lived in one area. They probably had separate rooms in the area, but in the center of the living quarters, the complex, they kept all of their tools, and everybody pretty much shared what they had. During the daytime, women would prepare meals, take care of laundry, do things like that, while the men were building dams and setting up foundations and things for a community. Well, while they were here, I guess quite a number of them died through drought and disease and other issues. So they created a cemetery down here, and we're going to go take a look at it. All right, folks, welcome to the Sunset Cemetery. All right, historic site, Sunset. This monument marks the cemetery in vicinity of the site of Sunset, a Mormon pioneer settlement founded by Lot Smith in March of 1876. The settlers, part of a colonization group called from Utah to Arizona by Brigham Young, came by way of Lee's Ferry. They erected a stockade of cottonwood logs for protection, and on July 5th, 1876, established the first post office on the Little Colorado River. They built a dam for irrigation and raised crops and livestock. Drought and floods, however, forced abandonment of Sunset in 1887. So they were only here for 11 years. Here's the names and dates of people who are buried here. General Lot Smith, 1830-1892. Family man, church leader, defender of prophets, colonizer, friend of the Indians, stockman, noted horseman, and defender of liberty. In January of 1876, Lot Smith was called by President Brigham Young on a mission to captain one of the 4 companies of Latter-day Saints to settle along the Colorado River. They arrived at Sunset Crossing on March 24th, 1876, where they built a fort. Later, the 4 companies were organized into the Little Colorado Stake. Lot Smith was called as the stake president, a position he held approximately 9 years until the stake was dissolved. While living at Sunset, 3 of Lot and Alice Ann's children died and were buried here: George Albert Smith, Wilbur Woodruff Smith, and Rhonda Smith. Okay, that makes sense. So here's Wilford Woodruff here, George Albert Smith over here, and this may be Rhonda Smith. I can't read it, to tell you the truth. It's just too far gone. Not sure who's buried here. The names are just too worn away. And I'm not sure what this is here. Big piece of wrought iron. And this would be a lonely place to be buried. Not that you're going to be hanging out with friends, but it just seems it'd be peaceful, but man, there's just nothing around here.
Strange RV tours will take you places with Greg and Janet's smiling faces. You might see a crazy flavored soda review or some tips to fit your RV too. So come along, won't you join us, friend, as we discover what's around the bend. Just sit right back in your easy chair. Strange RV Tours is on the air. Strange RV Tours is on the air.